I'm a pilot who accidentally flew over Area 51. The things that chased my plane weren't aircraft. I've been flying civilian aircraft for 12 years, and in all that time, I've never violated restricted airspace. Not once. I'm the kind of pilot who triple checks coordinates, who files flight plans early, who treats FAA regulations like they're written in stone. My instructor used to joke that I was so by the book that I probably slept with the aviation manual under my pillow. He wasn't far off. That obsessive attention to detail kept me alive through thousands of flight hours, kept my commercial license spotless, kept me employed when other pilots washed out. But on November 3rd, 2024, none of that mattered. Because sometimes the universe doesn't care how careful you are. Sometimes equipment fails, weather turns, and you end up exactly where you're not supposed to be, staring at things that shouldn't exist. My name is Mortis, and I need to tell you what happened in the skies over southern Nevada before they finish what they started, before the headaches get worse and I start forgetting things like the others did. I'm writing this in a motel outside Tonopah, paying cash, using a laptop I bought from a pawn shop. They're looking for me. I know they are. But someone needs to know the truth about what's really flying around out there in the dark. What's been flying around out there for decades while we all looked up at the stars and wondered if we were alone. We're not alone. We never were. And that's so much worse than you can possibly imagine. The flight started normally enough. I was ferrying a Cessna 182 from San Francisco to Albuquerque for a corporate client who'd bought it sight unseen at auction. Simple delivery job, decent pay, the kind of milk run I'd done 100 times before. The weather forecast showed clear skies and light winds all the way across Nevada. Perfect flying conditions. I filed my flight plan, did my pre-flight check with the same meticulous routine I'd performed thousands of times, and took off from Oakland at 7 a.m., planning to make Albuquerque by early afternoon with one fuel stop in Flagstaff. The Cessna handled beautifully, engine purring like a satisfied cat, all systems showing green. I settled into cruise at 9,500 feet, letting the autopilot do most of the work while I monitored instruments and enjoyed the view of the Sierra Nevada sliding past below. Everything stayed perfect until I crossed into Nevada airspace around 9:30 a.m. That's when my GPS started acting strange. The display flickered once, twice, then the coordinates began jumping around like someone was shaking the unit. I switched to my backup GPS on my phone, but it was doing the same thing. Latitude and longitude numbers cycling through impossible positions, placing me simultaneously over the Pacific Ocean and somewhere in Utah. I tapped both screens, thinking it was maybe some kind of interference, but the glitching only got worse. Then my radio started picking up static, a low, crackling hiss that overwhelmed all the normal frequency chatter. I cycled through channels, trying to reach anyone, but every frequency was the same. Just that steady, rhythmic static that almost sounded like breathing. I checked my compass, the old-fashioned magnetic kind that doesn't rely on satellites or electronics, and felt my stomach drop. The needle was spinning slowly, making lazy circles, completely unable to find north. I was lost, completely, utterly lost, somewhere over the Nevada desert with no reliable navigation equipment and no way to contact anyone. The smart thing would have been to immediately turn around, to reverse course and fly west until I hit the Sierra Nevada range again, then follow it back to somewhere I recognized. That's what they teach you in flight school. If you lose navigation, retrace your steps. Don't compound the problem by continuing forward. But I hesitated, thinking maybe the interference was localized. Maybe if I flew another few miles, it would clear up and everything would go back to normal. That hesitation cost me everything. Because while I was sitting there debating my options, trying different radio frequencies and slapping my GPS like that would somehow fix it, the Cessna's engine started running rough. Not failing, not sputtering, just running wrong. The RPMs were steady, but the sound changed. Started making this high-pitched whining noise underneath the normal engine roar, like metal grinding against metal in places metal shouldn't be touching. I checked the engine instruments. Oil pressure normal, oil temperature normal, fuel flow normal. Everything on the panel said the engine was fine, but my ears told me different. That whine was getting louder, and now the whole aircraft was vibrating slightly. A tremor I could feel through the control yoke and the seat beneath me. I made my decision then, turned the plane around, pointed the nose west, and started descending to a safer altitude in case the engine decided to quit entirely. I'd find the nearest flat piece of desert if I had to, and put her down there. Better to land in the middle of nowhere and call for help than to wait until the engine seized, and I had no choice about where or how I came down. But when I turned west, that's when I saw them. 3 objects in the distance, coming toward me fast. At first I thought they were other aircraft, maybe military jets from Nellis Air Force Base running exercises. Nevada airspace is full of military traffic, and I figured maybe that was causing my navigation problems, some kind of electronic warfare training that was frying civilian equipment as collateral damage. But as they got closer, I realized these weren't jets, weren't helicopters, weren't anything I'd ever seen before in 12 years of flying. They were roughly triangular, but the proportions were wrong, too flat, too smooth, with no visible wings or engines. And what happened next changed my life forever. Full story on my channel and linked below.